When are we going to have that Africa? That sweet Africa. That bad leadership, imperialism, colonialism, everything bad will be a thing of the past. Today I cry for Africa, but I hope I don't cry too long.
This Arise analyst just said it. African leaders must listen to their people. They must kick against leaders and politicians who have no plans for the people they are leading. Because if they continue staying in office, we'll keep seeing this coup, just like what we are seeing now, that has happened in Mali, that's happened in Niger, and now is happening in Gabon. I will allow you guys to watch the complete video.
When you take a snapshot of our beautiful continent, the beauty is fading away because of the madness of its leaders. The beauty of Africa is fading away because people that are supposed to be proudly Africa, that are supposed to call on Mama Africa every time to bring peace and succor to its people, are the ones taking the peace away from its people. The beauty of Africa is fading away. And I ask, where is Africa today? All over Africa, we have returned to the era of coups. Between 1957 and 1990, we had over 100 coups in Africa. In the space of a couple of months now, we've had 2 coups. The question is, where is it going to happen next on the African continent? What starts the cycle of all these coups? Bad leadership. But like I always say, you can't solve illegality with another illegality. Because the truth is, you just set up a chain reaction. So with this, I would like to condemn that coup this morning in Gabon. I would also condemn Ali Bongo, the seat-tied president of Gabon, that inherited the presidency like it's a family stew from his father, Omar Bongo. Despite the wealth and the oil resource in Gabon, never provided anything for the citizens, but provided all for themselves. Despite his own ill health, we all saw when Ali Bongo had a stroke and he had to move around in a gingerly form, but he still went ahead to sit tight in power. And that's what you see all over Africa. Should I talk about Bouteflika? Should I talk about Emerson Mnangagwa? That now he's won another election that are highly disputed in Zimbabwe. Ali Bongo pushed himself on and on. He finally won the election, but the coup plotters said, no, we can't allow this to continue in our country. When are we going to have that Africa that Thomas Isodowe Noel Sankara talks about? When are we going to have that Africa that Thomas Sankara will always say, La colonialism, abar. Imperialism, abar. Down with imperialism. Down with colonialism. Down with coups. Bad leadership, abar. When are we going to have that Africa? That sweet Africa. That bad leadership, imperialism, colonialism, everything bad will be a thing of the past. Today I cry for Africa, but I hope I don't cry too long.
Well, Gabon or Republic, Gabonais in its French, the French word for the country called Gabon, should or ought to be one of the richest countries on the continent of Africa, especially because of its many resources and the small population. So in terms of per capita income, it should be a thriving economy. However, unfortunately, due to bad leadership, has already been explained, and what almost seems like a monarchy, the country has not been able to achieve its full potential.
You've given the stats, a country that is just about 2.34 million, 2,341,000. That's the estimated population as at 2021. A very small country, but one that has some resources that should make it a nation that is thriving. But when you have one family run a nation like it's their family property, it is difficult to not hail the military from coming into power. But like my dear friend and colleague here, RUFAI, said, you can't have illegality take over illegality. It's not done. Yes, it is not done. It is absolutely wrong to have coups anywhere on the continent of Africa, and we have to criticize it, we have to rebuke it, we have to chastise it, we have to say it is wrong. It can never be right under any condition. But there are certain situations that make you begin to wonder, Whether this is a reason or maybe it's not, but I think it is a reason to listen to what the likes of George Weah, the president of Liberia, what he is saying. He's saying that Africa must listen to its people. Africa must look at action to be taken against those sit-tight leaders. How can one family choose to be in charge of a nation, run it to the ground, and then step on it and scrub their feet and trash it to nonsense? How can one family do that? One family for almost 60 years. This young Mr. Bongo, who's really not young, 64 years old, who's not now been pushed out of office, wants a third term. He's been there for more than 12 years. He wants a third term to keep him there. 2009 till now, that's about 13 years that he's been in office. And he still wants to remain in office. He's probably grooming his son and his daughter to become the next president and prime minister of the country and become the ministers as well. So it's just, it doesn't make any sense. So two clear things. Number one, coup is wrong. It should never be allowed and encouraged in Africa. But at the same time, African leaders, starting from our own dear nation, the largest black nation on earth, Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed TINUBU, responsibility and weight of being an African leader is on your shoulder. You are the only one that's being invited for a side meeting with President Biden. You have to make it clear that every leader on the continent of Africa that chooses to sit tight and turn a nation into their family business must be kicked out of office, legally or illegally, by every means possible. They have to be kicked out. And you have to look at how we make Africa better.
The major reason why all these coups are happening is because Africans are tired of recycling leaders who have no plans for them. Africans want good people to come into power, and that's the same thing we are clamoring always in Nigeria, that we want Peter Obi, we want someone who has plans to move the country forward. I'll allow us to watch this clip where a Gabonese revealed the real reason for the military
takeover. If you look at
takeover.
Gabon, for instance, this is a country that had a failed coup somewhere in 2019. So it's always something that you should expect going forward, that once you have a failed coup in 2019, then you should be looking out for certain things like this. In Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, there's, this, a complaint about economic challenges. It's the same thing in Gabon, but in Gabon, the baseline factor here is that, military leaders and sections of the people are not happy with the outcome of the just ended, general election, where they have actually termed it as an election that was not transparent, an election that lacked international observation, an election that, internet was actually cut, power, and all of those things. So although we've had, coups across the sub-Saharan African region, 8 of them since 2020, it is always important to note that what is happening in Niger is a bit unique, it's a bit different, because it's a country that just went to the polls about 48 hours ago. And, just after that, we've seen a coup, and this has been led by senior military, officers. So there's some sort of connection, and the connection is that almost all of these countries that we are talking about are Francophone countries. All of them, from Mali to Burkina Faso to Niger to Gabon, are all Francophone countries. And that is the dot or the connection that you can draw across these 8 or about 8 coups that have happened in West Africa, West and Central Africa in the past 3 years.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. Please do well to like this video. Please do well to share your thoughts about the video in the comment section. And please do well to subscribe to our channel if you are yet to subscribe to our channel, so you get updates whenever we post a new video.